Today marks 1628 day of daily lessons, day reflections, and today we'll expand about nervous system and on gears again. And we discussed gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, and today we'll focus on gear 4 on the high performance. And this is where we want to get. And we of course discussed that nervous system stages is extremely important because I will repeat it. Number one, shutdown. Number two are hyper aroused. Number three, stability. Number four is expansion. And during expansion, we want to understand how to really develop that performance. So gear four is where you actually start to perform at a high level. Yesterday, gear 3 is extremely important because it compounds everything what you do. Gear 4 is when you compound it, now you're actually able to move to high performance because you develop the skill set necessary to really high performance. So today I will share 7 things that you need to know about gear 4. So why gear 4 exists? First thing. And gear 4 is about intentional pushing. Intentional pushing. That means that this is extremely important, so I will push right now because I want to really get the output. I want to really receive something. I really want to achieve something right now in a short period of time because, as I said, gears are moment to moment. So it means on a daily basis, something hourly basis. So now we know that this hour is extremely important. So I'll push. I will push into high performance because you're not supposed to be on gear 4 all day long, but you're able to intentionally push when is important. So when you think about, okay, like there's like maybe deadline, there is some kind of important work you need to execute on a higher level, because sometimes when you think about what are the areas, what are the times of the day when you actually need to execute at your height, and this is the place where you expand your capacity. And again, at this moment, this is a controlled pressure for growth, and at the moment you stretch yourself, deliver results, operate over, above baseline. Number two is what it feels like internally being in a high performance gear, number 4 gear. And that body is activated, energized, slight tension, but of course it's not tight. But you really start to feel something. Mind is sharp, focus, faster thinking, but not scattered. And emotion is driven, engaged, urgent. Of course, at that moment, that is controlled urgency. And again, this is no panic, no house, control intensity, because you know that the task on hand, so you can say to say, this is important for me, this matters for me, and I am on it. That's exactly what the mindset is of gear 4. Number 3 is what it looks like behaviorally. Like what are behavior of this high output work? Again, this is where you actually look into what you need to do. Maybe deliver presentation. Maybe solving complex problems. Maybe intense trading. Like anything that really has high stakes. This is a place for high performance. And it's pretty interesting because this is where the supposed pressure be in, and we're supposed to move to gear 4 quite often because we need to learn how to handle the pressure. Because if you've never been in gear 4 and you're finally in gear 4 the first time in your life and you have that pressure on you, it will be very hard to handle it. And that's why we need to really learn how to really move through gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, and move on later on in other ones, just to make sure that we know exactly how those gears work and how to really feel comfortable in that gear. So common mistakes of gear 4 is where people fail is that first mistake is that living in gear 4. And that means constant deadlines, always pushing, no recovery, just everything is important, everything matters. That's no, like it isn't just one thing that again, high performance is not adding sometimes, is subtracting, understanding exactly what truly matters. And it might be that you have 10 things on your list to do. And the really things that truly matter, it potentially could be only one, it could be three. So being able to really be on gear 2 on other things, and gear 4 on things that truly matter. Save that energy for the things that matter. I think extremely important. Because otherwise, if you do everything with urgency, with pressure, even the small things, that will lead to burnout. Number two mistake is that turning it to gear 5. And that's the high stakes, high pressure, high stress, sometimes even the panic mode. And again, we're not supposed to be high performance in the high stress all the time, because that could potentially lead to overthinking, overstressing, emotional reactivity. Because of course we don't want to react, we want to respond. That's the when we are at the highest performance, and then sometimes losing clarity altogether and losing control over pressure. Mistake three is entering without preparation. Entering without preparation. So what it means is that there's no plan, no clarity, no foundation. You skipped gear 2, gear 3, you immediately went to from rest to gear 4. So what happens is that you want to really be high performance, you want to push, and you're pushing, but you have no idea what to push on. What exactly you're supposed to do. So now you still need to do the planning, need to do this the gear 2 and gear 3, but now you are pressuring to do the small things on anxiety. And of course, when you actually need to do the right thing, the energy already drained, and of course, you lose so much potential. Number four mistake is not exiting properly. And this is staying wired even off work, carrying stress into rest. And I think that I've been there as well. Is working very, 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 very hard, you high pressure, and then after work, you still maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe even sometimes even more. You're still thinking and thinking about the same work that you did, and that's is not healthy. We need to learn how to really work and then transition out of that. And sometimes is being able to actually in gear 3, gear 2, gear 1, slowly, not just from gear 4, gear 1 immediately. And I think that's extremely important, because otherwise, our brains will not rest, our mind will not rest, our emotions will not rest. So, next day, when we need to go back to gear 4, we do not have as much energy as a day before. And again, this potentially lead to burnout in the future as well. Number 5, how to enter gear 4, transition in. Again, the first thing is increase stakes. You start putting clear goals, clear deadlines for yourself. Tighten focus. Remove everything else. Laser focus on the things that are in front of you. Accept pressure intentionally. Accept pressure intentionally. And that's beautiful. And lean in and don't resist. But sometimes we could feel that, oh, the resistance, like a pressure kicks in, and we could potentially say that, oh, I don't want pressure, and walk away. But we need to choose pressure. Otherwise, it will choose us at some point when we do not want. It's a beautiful thing. When we choose pressure, pressure doesn't choose us. But when we don't choose pressure, pressure will choose us. Because at some point in life, we need to have pressure. Number 6, how to exit gear 4, transition out. So after intensity, we need to stop work deliberately. Because sometimes you can still work and be in between, still working and not working, and distracted and looking at phone and still trying to work. No, like this is it. I finished, done. And I think that that's deliberate is extremely important, and that's something that's like, extremely important to really move your body, walk, and stretch. Just really move out all that pressure, all that intensity that was in the body as well. Because a lot of times we think that that intensity and pressure just in the mind. No, that pressure stays in our body as well. We need to really move it, and sometimes even slow down. Breathing is a superpower. I think being able to really breathe and count, like for me, it was extremely helpful. Breathe and then count till six while breathing, and then count till six in the middle, and then count till six till breathe out. It's an extremely powerful tool to really remove the pressure out of your life. And of course, if you don't downshift, we potentially could stay in this gear longer than we're supposed to be. And last one, Number seven, how to know you did the right thing. How you validate that you actually stayed in gear four. How are you supposed to feel? At first, when you feel like accomplished, tired but not drained, clear-headed, able to recover quickly. This is extremely important. Able to recover quickly, because if you know that you're not able to recover quickly, something went wrong. It might be that you stayed too long in that year. Maybe we went from one gear to gear one to gear four. So start looking to what did they do that I am not able to recover quickly. So if you feel anxious, you went to gear five. If you feel exhausted, you stay too long. If you scattered, probably lacked control. So gear five final truth is that controlled intensity used intentionally for important work. Controlled intensity used intentionally for controlled important work. Controlled intensity used intentionally for important work. This is a great gear. And I think that when I think about gears, and a lot of times people don't get there. Gear 4 is a gear where not a lot of people get to high performance. People are rid of pressure. Sometimes people just not willing to really be laser focused at different reasons. But I think that's and nervous system stages again as discussed. People are constantly in shutdown, constantly in anxiety. They don't reach stability, and because of that, it's almost impossible to reach high performance gear being in shutdown or being in a hyper aroused state. That's why we need to really develop our nervous system stages to stability and then work just to expansion, and then of course be able to achieve that high performance. So I hope you choose win and see you tomorrow.